You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Paging Ensign Noel. Ensign Helen Noel, please report to the Science Lab for the Science Lab Christmas party. The captain has requested your attendance. It's Monday night at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern, and it's time to fire up. Oh, are we fired up the Protostar? We can fire up whatever we want to tonight. It must be time for Mission Log Live. I'm John Champion.
And I'm firing this up. Later on. I'm Norman Lau, and you're right, John. Tonight is a very special episode of Mission Log Live as we say hello to the 2022 holiday season and sad face goodbye to the live show for a few weeks because it's the end of the year and we want to welcome everyone who has been part of the team. That means your hosts, and that means you. So give us a call on our conversation for tonight. Click on the Zoom meeting link. You know what to do. That was so Shatner-esque. I am so sorry.
Oh, no, but it was good. You can do it, man.
Give us a call right now. Click on the Zoom link. One tap smartphone or call us at 669-900-6833. Enter the meeting code and our esteemed Earl of the Green Room will let you in.
Yeah, sorry, we've been talking about this, that there is no rule for what we're doing tonight. There's no topic for what we're doing tonight. So you, our listeners, you get to direct the topic. We are going to have some special guests calling in, so we're very happy about that. But this is the wind down show of 2022, our last show of the year, our last show of the season. We plan to be back sometime, early 2023 as a lead-in to Picard, which starts on February 16th. So we can talk a little bit more about that, speculate a little bit about that. Of course, like I said, you can call in and join us and speculate along with us. The show is your show. It's not just our show. And speaking of you, all of you, let's say hello to, first of all, some of the people who are in the chat. They're going to say hi to somebody who has joined us here on the stream right away. So in the chat, Scott Palm. Hello, my friend. Scott Palm, by the way, told me that he just ordered a little Romulan ale just to, add it to his collection. Hi, Scott. Paul Wright. Let's see here. We got, wait a minute. Yeah, Paul Wright, Paul Harveth, two Pauls showing up there. We have Chris Wright saying, Chris says he wore his loudest digital sweater. So
I'd have to jump there. So yes, Paul, I still suck. You are absolutely right. I do. I still suck.
He's sucking down the rye. That's what he's doing. Brett, brand new Patreon member. Brett, glad to see you. And let's see, he says, for the first time since TNG Season 5, I'm all caught up with Mission Log. Amazing. Good to see you, Brett. Welcome. We got David in the YouTube chat. We got James. We got, other David. So two Davids. We got John Arminio. Welcome. Good to see you. We got Carrie. We got Alan. Pleasure to see you. BC, Alamer, and you know the rest. Yeah, really? We're not even going to say it. Not going to do it. All right. We got Spencer. We got, who else? Somebody. We got Michelle. We got Kim. We got Tara. We got Bob. So many people saying hi. Glad to see you. You know what to do. You've been
Bob, the Bob?
Other Bob. Different Bob. Yeah. Don't worry. We'll make a special mention if we get that Bob in.
Okay.
And in fact, that's the perfect segue. That's the perfect reason to announce our first caller, who's part of the Mission Log family, all the way from San Francisco tonight in an undisclosed location. It's Holly Amos. Welcome, Holly.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hi. I'm at Starfleet headquarters or something.
Nice.
Nice.
So yes, I am on a business trip and I'm in a hotel room, and my apologies for terrible lighting and not great sound, probably because I just have my headset.
It's not bad at all. It's kind of moody, actually. That's cool. You got the view there. Do you have a good view? Like that's
I do. I actually have a view of the Flatiron.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's right outside my window.
Oh, how cool.
Well, I guess that's giving up my location.
And now send in the team.
Yeah, right. And you're ringing in the holidays the way you should with red wine and tater tots. Good for you.
Yes.
The way to do it. Yeah, well, happy to have you with us, and we're just going to chat tonight. We're going to see what people want to talk about. Norman, before we get into anything else too deeply here, we do have some announcements of what's coming up in Mission Log Land. So I tell you what, I'll take the first one here because then the next one is your show. So this week on Mission Log, dropping the new episode on Thursday, that'll be Deadlock. And as always, please send your emails and comments to missionlog@roddenberry.com. If you feel inclined to remark on what we did or didn't talk about, that is perfectly fine. That's what you can do there at missionlog@roddenberry.com. And, another good way to talk about that is in the Discord, in the Mission Log Discord, which is exclusive to our Patreon. We have that live chat every Thursday afternoon. So definitely want to see you join us for that. And remember that all of our shows are available at YouTube. Well, not all of them. A couple of very important ones coming up. YouTube.com/Roddenberry Entertainment or Roddenberry Prod to catch up on all the shows that we're posting there. Speaking of, Norman, that is your cue to tell us what's coming up this week on your show.
So we're really excited because we have the next episode of Star Trek Mission Log Prodigy. That's going to be dropping tomorrow or midnight tonight. Mm-hmm. And this is episode 17. This is the fourth episode to the finale. Shar and I had a great time talking about that. It's Ghost in the Machine. It's a fantastic episode. It's also one of my favorite Police albums. So, hey, win, win, win. Also on Roddenberry Entertainment, because I see, our beloved host, one of our co-hosts for Mission Log the Orville, we have Captain Mike and Jessica Lynn Verde's show, Mission Log the Orville, also on Roddenberry Entertainment, and our response show called Mission Log Engage, which John we'll get back to as soon as you keep sending us more emails and messages to read.
The emails and messages always come in, and they're always provocative and thoughtful. It's just a matter of honing that down, picking 5 at a time so we can record. But you know what? We'll be off from the live show for a few weeks, so maybe we'll just crank out some more Engage over that time too. I think that would be a good use of our time because you know what they say about idle hands. So catch up with all of those, youtube.com/Roddenberry Prod or Roddenberry Entertainment, and then catch up on everything else, podcast.roddenberry.com. You know what to do. Now, Norman, you mentioned something about 2 of those shows, Mission Log Prodigy and Mission Log the Orville, and those are 2 shows that have also extended the Mission Log family quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And from Mission Log Prodigy, one of those people joining us right now, Charlene Schmidt. Charlene, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Hey,
Hi,
good to see you all. How's it going?
Good to see you. Good. So talk to me a little bit about where you are with Prodigy, because you've got episode 17 coming out, and then it's just like this sort of rush to the end, and then we're not going to see Prodigy for a little while. How has your experience been covering Mission Log? Or covering Prodigy, rather, for Mission Log?
If you would have told me that I was going to be co-hosting Mission Log Prodigy at least some of the time with Norm, I would have just been, oh my gosh, ecstatic, because I was ecstatic that the show was even coming out. And now I get to be a part of it. And I just want to say thank you to you guys for that, because that has made my year. It's been a blast. And the show is just so amazing. I love being able to go doing the deep dives on each of these episodes, dissecting them bit by bit. And it's all going to wrap up way too soon. It's gone by so fast.
Yeah, that is true. That is a sad thing about short seasons. So, yeah. But always look forward to it.
The strange thing about the Prodigy, just trying to savor each and every episode, there was an 8-month break. Remember that. There was between episodes 5 through 10, and then getting to episode 11. 8 months, so we'll probably get back to Star Trek Prodigy sooner in the span of a regular year's time than that 8-month break, which really kind of threw off the rhythm of the show a little bit, but we're catching up.
Look at David said that it was too short a season.
Well done.
There we go. Well done, David. Well done. David's playing the home game.
Alan, get your game on, man. Come on. You can't let him have that.
Yeah. Hey, and then we did mention Mission Log the Orville, and we also have a guest calling in from that show, and it's Captain Mike from the bridge of the Orville. Welcome, Captain Mike. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, John. Hope you all are doing well. Holly, I share your experience with hotel Wi-Fi. I'm well versed in that. Wednesday night when we're doing our the Orville rewatch on our Discord, it's often from the hotel Wi-Fi. But it's been working out, and folks have been joining in, so it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't feel like my Wi-Fi is terrible. I'm mostly upset that the travel computer that I'm on doesn't support a background. So that's why it's my hotel room.
Yeah, well, the audio and it looks and sounds great. So,
great.
And Prodigy, man, the show's just knocking it out of the park. Enjoying that show and your show, Mission Log Prodigy, every week so much. So just keep on doing that. And yeah, talk about breaks, man. The Orville had a 3-year break from season 2, which aired its last episode in I think about April of 2019 until June of 2022. But the fans hung in thanks to just great writing and just loyalty to the show, and guys like Tom Costantino just carrying the fan base on his back for 3 years. So it's just been an amazing group to be part of, and just want to thank you at Mission Log and Roddenberry, the Roddenberry Podcast Network for giving us a chance to talk about this show, and I've been having a blast. So
now, here's a question for you, because before we went on the air and before you joined us, Norm and Earl and I were talking about, do we have any word about season 4 of the Orville? And there is no word, and all we can do is just sit here and speculate. Do you feel like, I feel like the show got a vote of confidence by being carried by Disney Plus. I mean,
I feel the same way.
Yeah?
The other night at the party, if we can talk about that, we went to Seth MacFarlane's Hollywood party.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. Wait. I got to reach down here and pick up this name that you dropped. Hang on. I'll be right back.
I'm sorry, but I was getting ready to drop another one. So Seth introduced us to Georgia Wiggum, who played Lysella in Majority Rules, as well as Future Uncertain, the episodes of the Orville. And she asked, "What did you think of Lysella?" And I said, "I thought she was a great reflection of us in that universe, and bookended the series very well." And then I looked at Seth, and at the same time, we both said, "So far." So he said, "So far." I'm going with that. So I think there'll be something back. I feel confident that that show will be back.
Cool. I hope so. I think that would be awesome. By the way, in the chat, so Bob Amos checking in, saying hi. Glad to see that.
Hi, Dad.
I say, while Holly's got a mouthful of tater tot. So, yes, glad to see you, Bob. And then we have Elise saying, "Look at that background." And I think talking to you, Mike. But look, Holly's background is still good, even though it's not the virtual background. That's fine.
I wanted something Christmassy. I was trying to get something from Generations, and then my computer was like, "Oh, it doesn't support that." And I was like, "Cool."
Okay,
technically, if you're a big fan of the Die Hard series, since Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and anything else you say is wrong if it if it's not
truth.
But your background is very Nakatomi Plaza sweet, so very Christmassy.
All right. Mm-hmm. And his wife's name is Holly.
It is.
Oh, it is Generations a Christmas movie.
See?
Just because there's a Christmas scene in it?
I think it's called, John, I think it's officially called the Star Trek Christmas Special.
Oh, okay.
There are like plates and stuff of that scene.
Yeah.
That you could buy back in the day.
Oh, well, I mean, look, if there's a plate, then it has to be official. I mean, if there's a plate that exists of anything, automatically it's elevated. No.
Officially licensed Star Trek Christmas plate.
How did none of us come up with the background from Helen Noel's memory that she implanted into Jim Kirk's background?
Exactly. Right.
Yes. There's a Nakatomi background.
Yes, and that is the perfect time to welcome our first caller, and that is Chris. Chris, welcome to the show.
Happy.
Speaking of Nakatomi Plaza, welcome.
What's the situation there? It's a little dicey, but we're doing okay.
I'm in that building.
Yes. I am here in full Christmas spirit. I have my Oregon Santa hat, go Ducks. I have my DC Flash sweater, and of course I have my snifter of Romulan ale.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
Fabulous.
Nice.
Well done. Thank you for supporting our
Fabulous.
sponsor.
Of course,
well done.
Of course.
Chris Riker is asking, which actually would apply to you as well, Chris, but asking Holly, are you noticing any Alan Rickman-ish villains plunging by your window? So, yeah. Scott Palm says, any minute now, Hans will bust into the room.
Not yet.
Okay.
But
good.
you might, it's the windows right behind me. You guys might
Mm-hmm.
see it.
You see that would happen, yeah. Look, Tara is stirring it up in YouTube saying Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. So
His
Well,
wife's
those-
name is Holly.
They literally play Ode to Joy in
I mean,
the
not
movie.
only that. I mean, thematically, it's about a man trying to reunite with his family. He knows he's been a bad father, and he's trying to make up for it. It's just so heartwarming. No, those are fighting words. The way it was in YouTube.
The obstacles that he faces are just a modern day version of Over the River and Through the Woods
Yes.
to reunite with his family.
this is true. This is true. Yeah.
It's planes, trains, and automobiles with machine guns. You know? So,
That was the
wow.
original
Let's-
pitch. Yeah.
let's be
Never
honest.
thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Love you, Tara. Thank you.
Chris, what is on your mind tonight?
I'll be honest, I did not really have a plan. I just wanted to wear my
Neither do
Christmas
we.
getup.
Good.
I
Good.
will say, I'm loving this Romulan ale. I took your guys' advice. I put a couple drops of water in. Oh, it just opens it right up. Like, it's good without the water, but the water it's a whole new thing.
There you go. There you
Wonderful
go.
Glad you
stuff, that
appreciate
Romulan
that.
ale.
Yeah. We
Paul
will
is
have-
dying in the chat, dude, right now. I'm drinking it. Sorry, man. Not
Oh.
sorry.
Too bad, Paul. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Chris, excellent to see you. Thanks for calling in. And thanks for that vote of confidence for the ale, because, I'm sure we will all share a glass at some point. Take care, my friend.
Of
Be
course.
good.
Happy holidays to all, and to all a good night.
holidays.
Happy holidays. Chris.
There we go. By the way, Nick DeGood checking in and saying Merry Festivus all. So
for the rest
thank
of us.
you, Nick, for
Yeah.
that.
Thanks.
Yes. Yeah, glad to see you. We actually have another call. Speaking of ale and all of that, we will have our friends on from Star Trek Spirits and Star Trek Wines shortly. But we do want to say hi to Paul Harveth. Glad to see you, Paul. Oh, wait a minute. I am getting a quick thing here from Earl saying The Black Hole is a Christmas movie. There's a deleted scene where they talk about having already had Thanksgiving dinner. Excellent. Excellent. Holly, I'm actually going to ask you because you really are the resident Trexpert here on in this panel, in this lineup. Is there anything other than Generations that could be considered like the Star Trek Christmas episode that comes to mind for you?
Kirk mentions it in one episode, and that's it. But there's no. I mean, we
No?
don't see it. He just mentions it. So I would say no.
Like Dagger of the
Generation.
Mind?
Yes.
Dagger of the
Yeah.
Mind, the Christmas party.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like a
Helen
part.
Well.
You don't like see a whole bunch of like Christmas hoopla and stuff. It's just like mentioned in passing that like they met at the Christmas party or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you don't see any of that.
Met. We know
Well-
what that means.
Well,
It's
for
Kirk.
James Kirk, we do know what that means. Yeah, but we
Just
only
in time for Christmas hoopla.
Oh, sweet Lord. Okay.
Speaking of hoopla,
Speaking of hoopla, speaking of inappropriate, I'm very glad to see you. We have our first celebrity guest of the evening. It's John Billingsley, for better or for worse. How you doing tonight, John?
I was looking around to see if the celebrity guest had snuck up behind me.
I'm hoping any minute
I
now.
Kaplaz in the chat, everybody. Kaplaz. Kaplaz.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
am fabulous. I did
Good.
not wear my pajamas, but I did bring my scotch.
Oh,
I see. You're right on theme. Good. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so John, fabulous to see you as always. There is a method to this madness, so that you're dropping by for a promotional reason as well, and you need to tell us all what we will all be doing in 32 days.
On January 14th, da-da-da-da-da, Trek Talks 2.
Yeah.
10 in the morning Pacific time to 6 in the evening Pacific time. Tons of amazing Star Trek guests will be appearing to entertain you and educate you about life's deepest problems and concerns. And the price of admission is a small donation, or perhaps a substantial donation, to the Hollywood Food Coalition, which is the organization that I've been working for the last 6 years, which does an amazing job helping people who are in need access terrific food. This is all over LA and King County. Not King County, LA County. Just talking to a Seattleite. I got
Oh, okay. Very good. Excellent. Yeah, we, of course, did Trek Talks #1 back in January of this year. And sure enough, yeah, we're just a little over a month away from Trek Talks 2. And we have this great lineup, a lot of celebrities to be announced, but some of them we have just started announcing. Today, we announced John Delancey, Nana Visitor, I believe maybe Bob Picardo was on that list.
Ricardo.
Yeah, but no secret that, Jonathan Frakes and gosh.
Steiner.
Oh, Brent, of course.
Steiner.
Yeah.
The Hageman brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yeah.
Rep Prodigy. Awesome.
Harry Farrell.
Yeah.
And all
So-
sorts of great, wonderful behind the scenes folks. Gates McFadden.
Mm-hmm.
You're hearing it here first, folks.
Ron Roddenberry. You've heard of him.
Hey.
Yes.
Heidi
Well,
Roddenberry. You heard of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
Armin Shimmerman.
Kitty Swink.
Wink.
Yeah. So
And a couple of amazingly cool, I can't believe they got those guys. We can't believe we got those guys. We're not allowed to announce them until we get closer.
yeah, can't announce those now, but yeah, like shockingly cool.
Yeah.
Just no other way that we would have been able to get them. But this is tied into a
Will
great
Wheaton.
cause. Oh, that guy.
Will Wheaton?
Hey.
Yes. Very excited about that. And just a little bit of a teaser that the thing that we have with Will is great. And nobody here wants to miss that. It's great. So, yeah.
And
Tune
the
in.
inimitable Bonnie Gordon is going to be co-hosting
Yay.
Mhm.
along with yours truly and Bill and Dan, Bill Smith and Dan Davidson, the Trek geeks, and
Mhm.
Mr. Champion will be making an appearance, doubtless.
Yes. I'll be doing something. I'm ubiquitous. So, yes.
We made 80 grand last year, and this organization has about a $2.5 million budget. That's not an insignificant chunk. We're hoping to bump that up a little bit this year. And I'm also really thrilled because I think so much of what the show represents is the coming together of the entire universe of fans and celebrities to kind of work together to recognize that what we call Trektivism, the idea that you can kind of dig in to do more in your community, is something worth promoting in its own right. So as much as this is a show about raising funds and awareness for the Hollywood Food Coalition, it's also a show about how we can all kind of give back a little bit more to the world, and how that's kind of what Roddenberry's legacy is all about.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Yeah. So January 14th, mark your calendars. Absolutely do not miss it. And one of the fun things we're doing this year to mix it up a little bit, we'll have the celebrity panels, we'll have the interviews, we'll have these incredible headliners that honestly, your minds will be blown when we announce them. But we will have performances throughout the day. So Bonnie Gordon, the Roddenberrys, 5-Year Mission are all doing music performances. So we'll cut to those. It's going to be a blast. It'll be awesome. So everybody can
Lyric
get
poetry.
yeah.
Did we have that scheduled yet?
I don't think-
recitation of lyric poetry from the
Yeah,
18th?
we don't have that on the list yet, nor do we have your
we're gonna
interpretive
shoehorn that
dance.
in, right?
Yeah, your interpretive dance is not on the list either.
Dance is not on the list. All right.
No, but we'll get to it. I'm sure. We may have to run long. So yeah, trektalks.net is the place to go to get all the information for that. And can't wait to see you all there. So John, thanks for stopping by, and you're welcome to hang out, or if you need to get back to your scotch. What are you having, by the way?
I'm having Costco Scotch.
Ooh,
Which, for those who don't know, if you go to Costco and you buy their, Kirkland brand liquor,
Mhm.
it's all premium liquor.
Yeah.
Like their vodka is fancy pants vodka, their scotch, I don't know what this is, but it's actually legit scotch that they just buy in bulk and pour into their own bottles, little minions in the back room, and you get it at a great price.
Excellent.
You got to love those Scotch minions. I wanted to read something from our chat. That's for you, John. One of our and long-term supporters, and she's been on the show several times. Cherie says, "OMG, John Billingsley, I love you. Dr. Phlox and T'Pol are my favorite Enterprise characters." So that's for you.
Oh,
And we almost had sex.
well, those two were so hard to tell apart. Phlox and T'Pol. Yeah.
This was my fundamental objection to that scene. It's like, Dr. Phlox is a giving person. There's no way in God's green earth he would not have had sex with that poor suffering woman.
He's very giving and a healer. A healing
that's
touch,
beautiful.
if you will. So
That's beautiful. So the producers weren't going for it? They didn't?
Well, they thought that would end the episode a little prematurely. No pun intended.
Yeah.
And I can see their point.
Hey, excellent discussion about Scotch there. We will go to our spirits and wine expert shortly, but I very quickly before we do that, by the way, Cherie says, LOL, yes, the Ponfar episode.
Yeah.
So, yes, thank you, Cherie. Before we jump over to our wine and spirits experts, I do want to say hi to Paul Harvath, who was waiting patiently. Paul, how's it going tonight? What is on your mind?
It couldn't be more perfect. It's dawning on me that with John here especially, and the only two people who we haven't all met in person, or I haven't met in person this year because of our Patreon group, is the two wine guys. And we got to fix that in Vegas next year. They got to make it to our celebratory gathering.
Wait, you didn't meet them in the entire time when we were
they actually inherited our bins from our party and they use them themselves for their tasting.
That's right. Yes. Yes. It's a tight-knit family here. A lot of it F&B related. Yeah.
It's just an honor to have brought so many of you together in person. Holly, we saw in Chicago, and we celebrated there with snow and pizza, which I'm sure she didn't like either of. We established that. And more recently in Columbus, and then of course in Vegas. So what a great year for this bunch! And I feel I'm sitting here in this Hollywood squares of people, feeling like it's roast the caller, So I don't know. It's just such an amazing group of people. I want to thank you all and wish everybody happy holidays. And looking forward to Mr. Billingsley's gathering. John, I listened to that entire thing for, I think it was 6 straight hours on a Saturday in January last year.
Yeah.
It was, if you're a Trekkie, you want to sit and listen to it because you never know what tidbits are going to come out and fascinating stuff. It was amazing experience. So looking forward to this year, sir.
I got to say, one of the things that really kind of tickled me so much is when we started it last year, it was kind of like, I don't know if it's going to work or not. Let's just ask a whole shitload of people and see what happens. And everybody said yes, which is why we had such a long show. And I was like, I thought I'd get Dominic Keating and that would be it.
Yeah. and he'll show up for anything.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
All those other guys said yes, too.
Yeah,
I know.
Pretty amazing.
It's a worthy cause.
So before I leave, and since we're talking about alcohol a little bit, I just want to pass along a true tale to our wine connoisseurs and wine suppliers. Of course, they're across the United States. I know you ship all over the U.S. with no problems, but there are laws prohibiting the shipping of certain materials. So in December of last year, a dear friend, a person who's become a dear friend through Mission Log, was unable to procure your material because of the shipping laws to the state called Ohio. But our shipping, in Michigan, we were able to get the said product. So they were shipped to Michigan and I delivered them. So we have Star Trek fans without borders here. Now, what has happened since is our laws prohibit in Michigan. I cannot order the Picard wine for some reason. I assume it's the alcohol content, and I can't get the spirits. However, the laws in Ohio have changed now. So we're doing this exactly in reverse. So we go to great lengths to procure these bottles of alcohol, mainly for the bottles, but of course for the alcohol. I mean, the alcohol is enjoyed, but the bottles are forever. So thank you for that.
I love this story so much because A, it's Mission Log bringing people together, and B, it's people working together to skirt the laws and be each other's mule to get them what they want. This is that's the heartwarming story of the season. Thank you, Paul, for that.
In California, bald people are not allowed to actually drink liquor in a public establishment. So that's going to knock a few of you.
That's why you're at home.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah.
I've got, I mean, I'm kind of borderline. I can still kind of get away with like a light beer. But
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some of us can provide that service. We'll just drink whatever you can't for you.
Sure.
Yes.
So, you know,
Yeah.
and I think that'll be just fine.
Okay, and one last holiday message for all those who are watching and not understanding what this community is about. Join Patreon, you become part of the Discord, and you can join us in the D.
The D.
Figure out what the D is on Thursday nights, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody there. Thank you. Good seeing you all, and thanks for not roasting me. I'm going to leave now.
Just in time. Take care,
Thank
Paul.
you, Paul.
Be good.
Happy holidays, Paul.
Take care.
Happy holidays.
Hey, that was kind of the perfect segue to welcome on our two experts from Star Trek Spirits and Star Trek Wines. So glad to see both of you. Now, Craig has joined us the last couple of shows, and this time we've got Craig and Howard. So welcome to both of you. Craig, of course, from 10 Forward, and Howard from home. Which is fine, which is absolutely fine. But welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. Glad to see you both. And we started out with that really beautiful, heartwarming story about our listeners procuring bottles of Star Trek booze for each other. That must warm your hearts, too.
Well, it looks like Howard's on mute.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's the first.
I was just sorry about that. I was just going to say, the reason you can't get the Picard in Michigan is because it's imported. That's imported from France.
Oh.
And the state there's like 4 states that don't allow us to sell imported wine.
Why?
State.
Yeah.
You know what we tell people? Talk to the governor. It's not us, it's you.
Mike DeWine. Mike DeWine.
Hello.
Exactly. Tragic. All right. Well, I'm sure that will get taken care of at some point. But guys, welcome to the show because you've been big supporters of us. And of course, we are big supporters and champions of the products that you make. Some people were just asking us today, by the way, like they didn't quite understand. There were Star Trek Spirits, there were Star Trek Wines. They weren't sure which was which, how they're related. Can you help us remove that obfuscation so we understand what's going on here?
Sure. It does all go back to the state laws. I mean, the liquor business and the wine business have very different regulations. And so it's really done through a completely different website for that reason. Different licenses, different operations. So we would love to be able to put both on the same page. We'll work on that. But right now, we're trying to keep within the letter of the law.
Got it. That makes absolute sense.
I think during COVID, the states have loosened up the laws somewhat. So I think late 2023, early 2024, we'll be able to merge the two sites and be able to sell under one domain or URL. But right now we have to separate the two.
Gotcha. And tell me, what has been, I mean, of course, I feel like audience and fan response to all of the product line has been extremely positive. The Chateau Picard, of course, looks like it is just right off the set because it practically is. The Ryzen bottles obviously look like they're right off the set because, again, you did a scan of the originals, so that is accurate down to the millimeter. But then you're holding, Craig, you're holding that bottle of Romulan ale, and that's really been kind of the star. The rye sold out. Is that, are you blaming us or is that a good thing? But then you got more, right?
That is a good thing. We do have more. We just had another shipment that's going to be arriving tomorrow. So we'll be replenishing any orders that have been made since that sellout period, which lasted just briefly until we were able to correct some things and get a truck back over to our fulfillment center with some replenish the product.
Cool. And I wanted to ask you, now I realize that neither of you are scientists, but I do want to ask you about, you've got blue wine and you have a blue rye and a blue vodka. There is a science involved in that. Can you tell us a little bit about who you're working with and how that comes together, Howard?
Sure. Yeah, we actually really worked for a couple of years on the Andurian Blue. So we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to create a blue wine, and work with a PhD food scientist who spent his entire career really working on doing that. And so just to be up front, once we figured out how to do that, after that 2-year process, we kind of applied that technology to the rye and the vodka. But we did spend quite a bit of time figuring that out. I mean, we have so many pictures of wine that was worked on and different varieties of color. And yeah, we spent quite a bit of time and energy on that.
John, we were talking about the two different colors of blue, and maybe Howard and Craig can give us a little bit more information on this. But the blue in the Romulan rye, that darker blue, that midnight blue, I think Craig you described it as, that's the color that you actually see in the Enterprise incident. When Spock was drinking it out of those really cool long rectangular glasses. But the lighter blue, the vodka, is what you would see in, say, like Star Trek VI, or in that Deep Space Nine episode, the Latin title, the Inter Arma Enim Sealant Legis.
Ooh, very good. Nice.
Wow. Oh, that hurt. I heard something when I did that.
Ow. Let's impress everybody.
Boom.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm distracted by John Billingsley. In certain angles, he looks like he's wearing a clerical collar, which I don't know.
He does, which is incredibly ironic and hilarious. But
Breaking news.
Yeah.
If you know me, you know how preposterous that concept is. I also like to just share something with you that for the last few minutes, Holly and I have been going back and forth about tater tots.
Cute.
She's
nice.
enjoying some tater tots
as
we speak. And my wife happens to love tater tots. I asked her what she was having, and we've been talking about her tots. I don't want that to take away from the fascinating conversation about wine and booze.
I'm sure that tots pair well with Star Trek spirits and wine.
Craig and I actually ate Tots Benedict just 2 days ago.
In New Jersey. Fantastic.
Nice.
Just saying.
See, before we went on tonight, we were discussing if you have your tots with a red or a white. I'm more of a red drinker anyway, but I think the tots hold up well to a red.
Holly was asking whether or not Bonnie, my wife, who's a big tot fan, had a special dipping sauce she liked. And I said that she likes the Naked Tot, which was a Star Trek episode.
Yeah, the Naked Tot. A famous Trek episode. Yeah.
Da-da.
Wait, where were we?
So going
Blue. This is my special skill, John.
No,
this is my special skill. You should have invited me on.
Yeah, that's why you're here. Yeah.
I knew when I said John Billingsley, I was either going to love it immensely, or regret it. I think it's all the above.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Yeah.
But we were asking.
Tots pair very well with the new Horizon Rosé.
Look at that, like a pro.
There we go.
Yeah,
that's a pro right there.
This is a beautiful tasting wine. We have 2 female winemakers that worked on both Risons. So we have the Raisin Rosé, and then we have the Raisin white wine blend, which is a Sauvignon Blanc and Muscat. So it's 95% Sauvignon Blanc and 5% Muscat. And Howard, you can talk about the winemakers, because they are 2 great female winemakers we just brought on board for this.
Sure. Yeah, we actually working with Nicole Walsh, who's an award-winning winemaker, and Noelle Schaff. It's actually not by design that we had 2 female winemakers on these 2 bottles. It just happened that way. But really, they're both incredible winemakers, and we're excited to work with them. So it's been pretty good.
By the way, in the chat, I like the people who are picking up this thread. Kim says, "Oh no, wait, sorry, it was Chris who said Spectre of the Spud." And then Chris who also said balance of taters. Really well. So yeah, Chris, you got a gold star tonight. Very well done. Yeah. So excellent. Well, guys, thank you again for all the support that you've shown us, and we're definitely fans. I loved our collaboration at STLV last year, and I feel like that will probably be a thing this coming year, I hope. We've talked a little bit about the cruise and about doing a little wine thing there potentially. So folks, just stay tuned. Not written in stone yet, but stay tuned because hopefully there'll be something there. And most importantly, if you go to Star Trek Spirits or if you go to StarTrekWines.com and you use our code Roddenberry at checkout, if you're at Star Trek Spirits, you get 10% off. If you get Star Trek Wines and you add that very cool metal UFP medallion to your order, then the price of that will just disappear and you will get that part for free. So guys, before I let you go, still time for shipping before Christmas? How are we looking?
Yeah, I think we're right on that verge. I think we're
Nice.
like today is probably the cutoff point. So I would say if you're going to get it, now's the time for
Do it
sure.
now. Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you both. So StarTrekWines.com, StarTrekSpirits.com. Use our code Roddenberry that they have so generously offered to us to offer to you. And I can't wait for more. Can't wait to see what else we do in the future.
One last thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Norman's, yes.
One last thing. So
Just like a Steve Jobs, yes.
Well, just one more thing. So there's been a lot of positive response to one of the things that's been in kind of like your promotional materials, and that's that Federation branded jigger. So I don't know if that's actually a product that you're thinking about adding on, but it could be a great add-on purchase at checkout for people who want to just complete that entire set. Make it like the photo finish set, if you will.
That's why we get you on live, because
Sure, I would
hold
say
you to it. Yeah.
Full disclosure, we actually designed that while we were doing it. We were like, I'm sure people are going to want to get this once we put it out there. And so we have been looking at doing it. But right now, it's a design. But
Okay.
right, just so you know.
Just saying the interest is out there in case you want to pull that trigger.
Dreams come true.
Lovely. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us again. We'll see you soon, okay?
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care.
Guys.
Bye,
Happy holidays,
everyone.
everybody.
Be good. All right. See, that was a perfectly timed segue. Mentioned, upcoming events like you got Vegas and there's Comic-Con and there's the cruise and there's all the stuff. That was the perfect opportunity to welcome Dr. Trek Larry Nemecek onto the show because he's got some events going on as well. So we talked about Hofoco. We're going to talk about that again. Remember January 14th. And then Larry's just going to drop right in here and tell us what he's got on the calendar to let all of you know where to find him.
That was smooth, John. Hey, everybody.
Not really, but thank you. Yeah.
Smooth like a Honda proof Romulan rye.
well, hey, so I was going to say, it's the post-pandemic drink. It's rum and Diet Dr. Pepper. So,
wait, hang on.
Let it be noted that everyone else on the panel is making this face.
It actually is very smooth. And listen, Diet Coke Splenda, which eats your brain slower than regular Diet Coke, went away. It disappeared. I can't get Coke to talk about when Diet Coke Splenda will come back. So anyway.
Larry, what rum though?
Huh? Just Silver Bacardi.
Oh, wow.
Does it really matter if you're pouring Diet Dr. Pepper in it?
No. You're putting the rum into the Diet Dr. Pepper.
Oh, it's the other way around.
It's actually no, it's fine. No, it's silver. I mean, if it was good enough in college, Silver Bacardi is good enough now.
Oh,
nobody over the age of 23 should ever say if it was good enough in college.
Larry, I get a whiff of things that I drank in college, and I get nauseous. Like
I'm
I have
talking simple. This is simple.
I love it.
My goodness, I thought it was the sentimental season. Look at this.
No. This is full of.
I got the tree up today for you tonight, John.
No, just
Wow.
They could have invited Dominic Keating. It could be worse later.
We knew we could
remind you of that. Okay.
This is the science party after all.
Yes.
So,
yes.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So as you take a sip of your offensive drink, Larry.
Abomination.
That's your chance then to let us know what's coming up for you.
Well, no, it's been aside from, another Trek Files is dropping tonight, which is still, the steam is still coming off of it.
It is. By the way, Nick in the chat says, Larry, this is actually an intervention.
Oh, tough room tonight, Larry. Sorry.
I guess so. This is the last time I let the you said just give it a while before you jump in. No,
if you want to have a bite of your corn dog at any time, Larry, feel free. I just
corn dog is the only thing I eat mustard with. Okay.
Okay. All right, good to know.
More than you wanted to know. No, so thank goodness the pandemic is letting up for so many great reasons, and one of them is the return to experiences. And we're the cruise world has come on 5-6 years now, and that community has really gotten big. But the thing that was just starting to pick up that kind of took a back seat during the pandemic, obviously, and is reemerging is my experience with the location site tours, which were very cool. And people didn't even think about them until just a few years ago. But thanks to my friend Terrace at Geek Nation Tours, we would do these big multi-day Star Trek location sites. We have another one. We haven't done one since 2016. And that's going to be in July, not attached to any other event. It's a standalone event with some celebrities of note being attached to that too. We're trying to have somebody every day.
You got Dominic Keating, didn't you?
No, I said, Dominic, you have to wear your EV suit. And
okay. Very good.
We're going to recreate that scene. No, that's July. And we had a lot of fun. Last year, Rod came to me and said, well, actually 2 years ago, we had to put it off for pandemic, about doing and it wasn't location sites, but it was sites tied to his dad's life. So we did a Gene Roddenberry centennial tour and went all over LA to where he'd lived, as a kid and married, and then the workplaces. And that was awesome. And had a couple of people jump in with us along the way, but Rod, most of all.
Yeah.
So that was, but this whole thing is kind of a different way to experience Star Trek in a different way, but that's happening. And then for the people on the cruise, I thought, well, this would be nice since they're leaving LA this year. And a lot of them have never been around LA. And so I've got a special, you don't have to be on the cruise, but if you get yourself to LA the day before they disembark and the day before they embark, I guess, and then the day after they disembark in February and March, it's just like a 4-stop around LA, kind of the greatest hits, Vasquez Rocks, and the Tillman, Starfleet Academy plant, and a couple of other places.
Very cool.
So as a group tour. So but that's, it's something that was getting exciting to do on top of all the other Dr. Trek things, and then pandemic just kind of put kibosh on it. So as we got going, so
they filmed a couple of scenes on Enterprise in my backyard, and if you want to add that to the list, I'm happy to negotiate a reasonable price if you're wearing.
Why, John, you're holding out on me. Apparently, the call sheets were suppressed.
Yeah, fairly well contained scenes, but we can talk.
I will spoil. Oh, go ahead.
Is the cruise going out of Long Beach?
San Pedro.
It's right next to. I should
down there. Yeah.
I should probably go, huh?
You should. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Like it's leaving from my backyard. I should.
Yeah.
Speaking of backyards, okay.
You don't have that whole hop the country cost to get into. Yeah.
No, I'm down the street.
Yeah.
And my understanding is that they'll do it from San Pedro to Mexico this year, and then next year they'll be back in Port Canaveral doing the whole Caribbean thing again, which was great. It was awesome, but kind of cool to have an LA trip in there. And who knows? Market test this one. Maybe they can do 2 a year. Maybe do one of each.
They told me that on their own, a lot of them that were out at Cape Canaveral 1 or 2 years there would organize big trips and go to the Cape and do a NASA tour or whatever. Yeah. Go to Disney, whatever, for some of their added on days. While we're here in town, we might as well. So that's kind of the idea here. But
John Billingsley, you've been on a Star Trek cruise.
I think I might be banned from Star Trek. I'm not entirely sure.
I think I saw your name. I think I saw your name on the list, but
I was on last year's cruise.
Yeah,
I had a fine time.
Did you?
Okay. I did. I had a wonderful time.
What's for somebody on your end? How is it different than doing a land-based convention?
Much more booze. Much more booze.
Which is already, there's a lot of booze.
There's already a lot of
land-based.
But they give you, the damn fools, a drink ticket.
Oh.
So, yes. So not only are you going to gorge yourself on all the fabulous food, but you can go to any one of the 5,000 bars on the boat and say, I don't know, recommend Freppe.
Right.
And there it is. Just
Amazing.
like that.
You mean not a rum and Dr. Pepper? I'm just curious.
No, but if
diet Dr. Pepper.
Diet,
excuse me.
My God.
Yeah, it's not an animal. Yeah.
Exactly.
So most of the celebrities are barely hanging on to with the exception of Nana, who's $4 a days long all the fucking time.
I got to get on one of these trips.
No, it's a great. It's just such great fun, and they're wonderful events and parties. I mean, I had a blast. I actually had an absolute blast. I'm waiting to see whether or not I have. In fact, they invited me back, but I haven't heard a peep from them. So I'm beginning to worry a little bit. It's
okay.
Yeah, I guess I actually saw Nana the other night. We had dinner with her, and she said, "Nah, they're just
just takes time." Yeah. All right. Well, to be continued. We'll figure that out.
Gonna go.
Yeah.
I just decided that. I'm gonna go.
Good.
Do
okay.
it.
Holly will be there.
Live in the now.
I hate to tell you, it might be sold out.
Oh God.
They're always finding more cabins.
No, I'll find a way.
There will be a way.
Holly's kind of a big deal, so if anybody's going to get on, she will.
Exactly.
And I don't want to spoil anything with getting back to the Hollywood Food Coalition and the big event next year. I don't want to spoil anything, but I was happy to help out with a little bit of one of your special events. I mean, for now anyway.
Yeah.
I think involving Will. So I won't say any more than that.
Okay. Very good. So
pulling
stay
something
tuned.
out of the back.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yes.
You actually.
Yeah.
You provided a critical prop.
Yes. So stay
Alan, do you have that
tuned for all of
redacted sign for us? You might.
Yeah.
you might
Here we
need
go.
that.
Here it comes.
He's got it. Okay. Well, we'll have Alan in just
He
a
was
second.
prepared for props.
Oh, here we go. And
There we go. Okay.
There it
So
is.
just in case you say anything.
yeah.
you have
Wait,
Alan.
nobody can hear you. Nobody can see you, but we can all see that you're holding up the redacted sign. With that, let's just welcome Alan to the show. Welcome, Alan. How's it going? We didn't see you last week. You were here. You were doing things. Welcome. How's it going tonight?
Oh, guys, this is it's like having a front row seat. This is great. No, I'm thrilled to be here tonight with you all. It's a lovely thing. If I may, I had plenty of time to come up with this one. So the butcher's knife cares tot for the lamb fry.
Oh, bringing disco in there.
Yes.
Very nice.
Good job.
Well done.
Good job. Yes. Alan,
Gotta
master of-
represent.
master of the pun. That's why we have you here. Good job. So anything on your mind tonight? Any comments for our guests or just well wishes for the end of the season live show?
Well wishes for all. I guess I'll start with John. It's great to have you here. The last year's show was amazing. Very much looking forward to it this year. And I can tell you that I was in for the Star Trek appropriate amount of $47. I challenge all mission loggers out there. I want to see 47s up and down the row.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Let's make this happen, people.
Good plan. Good plan.
Otherwise, just I was kind of calling in if this is kind of like the year-end wrap-up, what a year it's been for Star Trek. For I guess we'll throw in Orville in there too because it's Trek adjacent. But how many great moments, how many great hours of programming have we gotten this past year? This has just been.
Do you think there are enough Denobians?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Like, in all of Star Trek, yes.
Star Trek, I just frankly kind of feel like there's a bit of a Denobulan shortage.
We do have one in Prodigy.
This is true.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Man's opinion.
Barnes Frex. So
Oh my God, that's right. Yes, that's right. Right. Yeah.
They slipped a couple into lower decks, and then you've got this one pivotal little guy.
That's right.
In, Prodigy.
Yeah.
Prodigy, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
We don't like it when we're called little guys. Can I just something we as a species don't cotton to all that much.
Yeah. So I say, so you can speak for all Denobulans then.
We're all we're all kind of mushed together on our planet. So yeah, I can pretty much speak for all Denobulans.
In all the fun ways too. Yeah.
All the fun ways.
Yeah.
You're like the Leonard Nimoy of Denobulans.
First polyamorous Star Trek character.
Exactly. Not enough of those either.
No.
So Alan, we do have some other incoming guests, so we're gonna say goodbye and then have some more callers. So
that's perfectly fine. Live long and prosper. Thank you for 2022 Star Trek. Let's go 2023.
Live
excellent.
logs.
All right. Cheers. Yeah.
Live logs and proper.
Absolutely.
There you go. Live logs and proper.
Take care. Have a good night.
Good night.
All right. Well, so we might end up running just a little bit long tonight because, as it happens when you have a live show and there's no script, there's no schedule, there's no plan. Other people call in, and of course we've had John, we've had Larry, and now we're going to welcome another Star Trek luminary who happens to pay our bills, and that's Rod Roddenberry. So, Rod,
applause.
How you doing?
Say hello.
Hey guys, how you doing? Good to see you guys.
Good.
How's the show been?
It's all
Fantastic.
right. I mean,
we have Larry.
Have you
John.
wrapped up 2022? Is it success or failure? I don't know.
2022, not bad. We just, talking about how there is a lot of Star Trek in 2022 and a lot more to come in 2023. Do you think there is the attention a little bit divided there, or is it just kind of like the way it should be? Like 10 episodes here, 10 episodes there, you get to move your attention to Lower Decks or Discovery or Strange New Worlds?
Well, I have to say, and you guys have probably said this on the show plenty, just the fact that the shows are so different that I think it would be more of an issue if they were, obviously similar. And it would be hard to sort of know, like, hold on, which show are we talking about again? Is that the one where they, the fact that these shows are all different in format and tone and everything, I think it's relatively easy to stay in your lane in terms of watching it, I can't say that I'm not personally producing it, but I imagine in producing it. I like the diversity in the shows right now. There's something for I think just about everyone.
By the way, just jumping over to the chat for a second, Nick does make the very good point, just to our previous topic. I'd argue that Kirk was the first polyamorous Star Trek character. You've got a good point. And then, Rod, a lot of well-wishers, a lot of people saying hello. Paul Wright, Kim, Scott Palm, Trek Karen, who just had a birthday very recently.
Kirk may have been polygamous, but he wasn't polyamorous.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There's a little bit of a difference. Yeah.
I was having this interesting discussion with one of our patrons on Discord. And one of them said, are we going to see the same kind of episode over and over and over again in Star Trek? And I'm like, that's only for people who have been with the franchise and been with the fandom for, say, like 56 years, like has seen it all, done it all, watched it all. But then you have brand new 4, 5, 6, 10-year-old fans that are watching Prodigy that have never seen any of this for the first time. And when you bring that up to somebody as kind of like the discussion point, you don't almost feel like you can hear their brain scratch and say, yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great entry point for people. There are so many shows now, Lower Decks, Prodigy, even Star Trek Discovery, even Star Trek Strange New Worlds, that these are the first, steps that people are taking into Star Trek. And then they can go back and have this wonderful 56 plus year catalog of movies and events and shows and things of that nature. But you have to let them have that moment first. And I think that's what all of these new shows are giving to people. They're giving them that moment where they can be like, you know what, it's time to try something new. And if I don't like this one, maybe I'll like this other one, and I think that's important.
Yep.
And it is tough because, we all heard the stories about when TOS went to TNG and, many of the Star Trek fans said, there's no way, no one's going to take my Kirk away from me and all this sort of stuff. And, over time, Next Generation became very popular, as did the shows after. I sort of started off that way a little bit when discovering these new shows. I was like, hey, no one's going to mess with my Next Generation. That's true Star Trek to me. And I'll tell you, it's taken a little while. And while not every show is my favorite, I see the Star Trek in all of them. But I had to have a lot of internal and external discussions with myself and people about what is Star Trek, what makes Star Trek. And of course, John, Norm, you guys might do that every now and then, like weekly. But it is an ongoing dialogue to say what is Star Trek and what isn't it. And people define that in so many different ways. And I struggle as well. And plus, it's very personal to me. And not to say it's not personal for everyone else, But I feel like I'm one of the old Star Trek fans who now says, "Oh, it's not Star Trek unless it has this." And I still feel strongly about that. Star Trek isn't Star Trek unless it's at least getting you to consider a different point of view, or think, or see things in a different way. If it's just sci-fi, that's not Star Trek. That's not Star Trek by my standards, at least.
Yeah. Well, and from what you're saying, this is a pretty good problem to have. Is that we get to talk about 5 different concurrent shows. We get to talk about that in retrospect to the 700 plus episodes that came before that, and hold that up as a kind of comparison. Otherwise we just be a bunch of people sitting here every week talking about the same 79 shows over and over and over again. I'm glad we don't have that problem. So,
you mean the 80s?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're not in the 80s anymore. Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, before we wrap things up tonight, and I apologize that we're going a little bit long, but hey, look at this. We have all these awesome people hanging out with us tonight. Do you want to bring in one other listener caller tonight? And that is Dr. Dawson. You got your doctorate in awesomeness. Glad to see you. How's it going tonight, Doctor? What's on your mind?
Oh, well, I've been in bed with some sort of sinus thing going on.
Oh no!
But I scheduled my sleep schedule around this because I did not want to miss the wrap-up party for 2022. And I didn't know we were going to have so many awesome guests on because you guys keep secrets really well.
Don't you mean Dawson guests?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Right. See, there we go. But I just wanted to come on and say, earlier this year, at the beginning of this year, I was in a really bad place, really dark, not good place. And then I found Mission Log, and I found the podcast, and I was coming out of this thing, and I didn't have a lot of money, and I'm like, okay, well, I can give $10 to this, and then I found the Mission Log Discord, and it is my self-care. It is what I go to all the time when life kind of sucks a little bit and you need a little lift up, and that's Star Trek. And I just want to thank John and Norm and everybody on the Discord for just being amazing and being my family. So
that's incredible.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing that with all of us here. That's I got to hand it to Norm, and this is not just to sit here and blow smoke. I mean, Rod brought all of this together and had this idea, this vision for a show that we could do to talk about these ideas. And then when Norm came on board, he had his own vision for how do we engage and build a community and have quality, thoughtful conversations. And I'm amazed at how that has grown in the last couple of years. And to hear somebody like you who comes along and engages with us week after week and see the value in that, that means more than you know. It really does. Thank you.
Yeah. We've said this before on Discord, and we've said this, even on the show. Our whole goal for Discord was try and help people just communicate during the first COVID lockdown, the heavy lockdown, when nobody was talking to anybody. We had our first show like on a weekend, and there are a lot of people that they called in and they just wanted to reach out and connect and just see old friends again that they weren't able to see, on the convention circuits, and the conventions were gone, and it's just really evolved in this wonderful community that we just kind of take care of each other. So we have these wonderful live shows, we have these gatherings, we've been able to meet in person. We're doing what I think Star Trek was meant for people to embrace, and that's create communities of their own, with this common thread that they can talk about. It's a great entry point to be able to start to talk to people. But then after that, you become more than just Star Trek fans to each other. You become family, and there's another great theme that we've always learned about Star Trek is that found family, that you can really depend on. And then that manifests itself into something greater. So I'm glad that, there are a lot of people that have found value, because it's given so many of us great purpose, to be able just to reach out and be ourselves and communicate and connect. That's the human adventure, right? That we're talking about with Star Trek.
Hey, perfectly said, Norman, because Alan in the chat just said it's the human adventure, y'all.
Well, I stole it. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I'm on a little bit of a delay, so I stole his idea.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Dawson, I just want to say that it's beautiful for you to come on here and be so open and willing to share your sentiments and your feelings and how it affects you and how it seems to have, dare I say, improved or made things better for you, or at least given you unique and different perspectives. I love Star Trek for that reason, and anything that's involved or around, which this, whether it's podcasting, whether it's the chat lounges, I am so proud of my father and to be a part of something like this and to hear that in a way that I've never heard it before. I have had people talk to me about how Star Trek itself has inspired them, but to hear that this aspect of Mission Log, this chat forum, this Discord area is a place that also conveys this message, brings this unique idea of a better future for humanity out and puts it on display for people to interact with. That is beautiful to hear. And I do not mean to make it a soundbite from you. First of all, thank you for sharing it and thank you for letting me know, because I'm incredibly proud of that as well now. And whatever we can do, Norm and John are the ones who are there making it amazing, along with everyone in the community. Please let us know whatever we can do.
And Dr. Dawson is very willing to kind of share his vulnerability and openness now. What he's probably much too humble to talk about is how much he helps other people. And this man has definitely dedicated the last several years or maybe even decades of his life to help others. And it's folks with diverse backgrounds who have their challenges. And I think that's why we're all here. I mean, we all find something to connect with. And Rod, you mentioned the diversity of the different shows. Discovery shows representation that like no show has shown before. And I know people who are in tears at the end of every episode because they see themselves in a position for the first time ever. And you have something like Strange New Worlds trying to recapture that episodic magic of the original series. And in my opinion, you got the animated shows just knocking it out of the park. So there's something for everybody. And if we can sit down in this diverse community and say, man, I disagree with you, but tell me why, like your dad said so well many years ago, then that's the legacy that this Discord and Mission Log carries forward. And I'm, to be a small part of that, just thank you for letting me show up every now and then.
Well, likewise. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Hey, Dr. Dawson, we are running late. I'm going to say goodbye so we can bring in one last caller just for a second and then wrap things up. Again, thank you. That was...
Thank you, Dr. Dawson.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, that was lovely to hear. Have a great night. And we'll see you soon in the Discord. All right, take care. All right, saying hi to our last caller tonight, Matt. Matt, welcome. I see you've got some Orville stuff there in front of you.
Yeah, look at that.
You're sucking up to our Orville host.
You're on mute, Matt.
I love it.
Oh, you're muted. Oh, wait, here we go. And now he's on. How's it going, Matt?
Well, that's Pranakasha, Matt, for you, man.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but if you notice, I do have my Star Trek badge.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
And then we've got, of course...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The topper. I have that. That's great.
Very
nice.
Awesome.
Enterprise.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Very nice.
I could demonstrate it, but once I turn it on, it won't stop for 5 minutes.
Okay, we don't.
Yes, it goes on and on.
But yeah. Well, to tell you the truth, I just crashed the meeting and looked at the Zoom invite coordinates and went into the transporter buffer, and our host of the show was so kind to let me in.
There you go.
So, yes, I'm a longtime Trekkie. I started watching it in 1974 when I was in third grade. By the end of third grade, I'd watched the entire TOS franchise. And then, of course, being of that impressionable age, it has firmly rooted itself in my psyche. And, yeah. And I wanted to talk about how we're able to agree to disagree. Like me and Mr. Billingsley were at each other's throats yesterday, but we were able to, what shall we say, reconcile by the end of the discourse.
I wouldn't say we were at each other's throat. Oh, you son of a bitch!
I'll have words with you afterwards.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
I appeared on Matt's podcast.
Yes, the Pranakasha
And,
live
those-
stream.
Yes, those of you who know me know that I've never met a political opinion. I wasn't prepared.
Mr. Billingsley is a bit outspoken, I should say. Maybe a bit too.
Good for you, Matt. Good,
No,
good,
it's
good for you
perfect.
both engaging in that. Excellent.
Yes.
All right. Cool. Well, Matt, I appreciate you crashing. Feel free to crash anytime. We'll be back with our live show sometime in early 2023 before Picard starts on February 16th.
Okay.
Yeah, see, right? There we go. There we go.
And also,
go
I'm
ahead.
going to be on that bus with Mr. Larry Nemechek in March, I believe.
You're
Nice.
after.
Yeah.
You're a day after
See?
it comes back, person.
See, okay, that was perfect. That was the perfect segue for me to go back around and just make sure that everybody has plugged everything they need to plug. Larry, of course, at LarryNemechek.com, where people can get the info about the tour. They can get info about, of course, the Trek Files, new episode dropping tomorrow. Anything else on your radar? Of course,
Tuesday
they can get
Live, and
merch.
I have a little gift store that's got TeePublic stuff, and I'm doing Canva. I keep saying that Cameo things now. If somebody wants a Dr. McCoy, somebody wants a Will Rogers script or message or something, whatever. I'm doing that. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, and we have Cadet Alice. Cadet Alice, you guys, I hadn't mentioned her, but
And can you
she
do an
loves
Alec
Prodigy,
Guinness?
obviously. Yeah.
Says, I feel a disturbance in the force.
I'm also selling these little mechanical chickens.
Okay.
They're little chickens, and you can flip this little switch, and it'll chick right across your floor.
I'll see your chicken and raise you a frog.
Right?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. All right. So, Larry, we can find you at LarryNemechek.com. Of course, Shar, you and Norm have got Prodigy dropping tomorrow. So, everybody go
That's
to
right.
podcast.roddenberry.com and pick your preferred way. I love watching the video of those shows just because there's a level of excitement to that, to see you guys in the moment talking. So, thank you for being a part of that and joining.
Ofoco.
Yes, I was getting to that,
January
John.
14.
Yes.
And Rod Roddenberry is going to be a significant guest.
I'm
Yes,
going to
you
be
will.
there
Yes,
along
you
with a
will.
lot of great other guests.
So trektalks.net, mark your calendar for January 14th. Now, Mike, of course, Orville isn't on at the moment, but all of our backlog of shows are there at podcast.roddenberry.com. They can catch you and Jessica. So look forward to that. And of course, follow
And those of you who have not watched Orville,
Yeah.
I know I'm the Star Trek guy, but you should really go watch Orville.
You got to watch Orville, and you got to every day do hashtag Orville season floor, renew the Orville.
Yes,
But
sir.
also,
There
they
you go.
forgot to
Yes.
mention that Mr. Billingsley, I don't know if you know this, but at this year's installment of the Trek Talk, he's going to be personally reciting Vogon poetry.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Mr. Billingsley does not know this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So thanks for of course, let's see here. All right, Mike, people need to follow ML_the Orville on Twitter. Holly, anything that we should know coming up for you?
I'm just coming back for Picard, I assume.
You're coming back
correct?
for
yes?
yeah, you're coming back for Picard. Our live show should start on February 20th. I guess you are now.
I mean, it's in my calendar.
It is, yeah. And we'll figure out the cruise thing because
That wasn't a
needs to
question,
happen.
John.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
That
we'll
was
figure
a
out the cruise.
demand.
Yes, that has to happen. Norm, of course, you and I at on Twitter at Mission Log Pod, Facebook Mission Log Pod. People follow us there, and the regular show will continue to be out. We will not release a show on December 29th. That is the only Thursday that we'll miss between now and the end of the year. But then we'll be back first week of January. And of course, join us on Patreon, join us on Twitter, join us on Facebook, wherever you can find us. Follow us. We need the affirmation daily.
That's right. We're just like Adonais, the Apollo and Who Mourns for
Happy
Adonais. Give us
Christmas,
the
Bacchanalia!
adulation.
Exactly. And John Billingsley, Rod, thank you both for dropping by. That was a
Absolutely.
delight. I appreciate it. And with that, Mission Log Live is produced by Roddenberry Entertainment. Technical production on Mission Log and Mission Log Live by the infusive, the incredible, the indelible Earl Green. Be sure to visit podcast.roddenberry.com for the latest from Roddenberry Podcasts. If you'd like to support Mission Log directly and join us in the Mission Log Discord, give us a look at patreon.com/Mission Log. Thank you to everyone who joined us live or later. We look forward to chatting with you again in 2023.
This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.